You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Sons of Anarchy After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Sons of Anarchy After Show.
Hey guys, Bing is for doing, and we are doing another Sons of Anarchy after show here at AfterBuzz TV. We're back in Charming, and we have a full house tonight.
Yes.
Finally.
It's been a while.
The boys are back, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's good to have everybody at the table finally, and we
That's
got
right.
that in the episode too.
We did.
We can vote now, finally.
We did. We can all vote. Hey guys, I'm Krisily Kennedy, and I'm here joined by the fabulous men to my left.
Matt Lieberman.
Keven Undergaro.
And I just have to tell you guys that I'm sorry for my behavior today.
What do you mean?
Sorry for my behavior today.
What
Come
kind-
on, that's how we ended the episode. I'm
Oh.
sorry for my behavior today. My joke didn't work.
It didn't work.
No.
No.
Didn't work at all.
We're lame.
Yeah, we're
But I
lame.
mean, amazing episode. It was
Yeah.
what a relief, right?
we needed a win
Needed
after
a W.
last week so badly.
I
and
mean, I think after many weeks.
I know, because we've just been like marching straight into hell, and finally we've got like this big like burst of sunshine. And this episode was just so much fun, and we got like scenes that we've been building to for forever. That scene at the table where Jax gives his speech about getting out of guns, we've been building to that since season 1, really.
But if, you notice I was always talking about how gone were the days of the cookouts and hanging at the bar and just and chilling out, and we got to see those moments tonight, and especially the ending. It was awesome. It was like it was so cool to see that. I'm so glad that I really didn't see that coming. I thought that this was going to be like the last season of Breaking Bad was, those last 16 episodes where it was just every week just more and more being pulled apart, and I thought we were on that slope because we have one more season after this, right?
Yeah, one more season.
So, but I'm glad, like, no, we got a nice breather. This was awesome.
I think it's so interesting that you called the episode fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
We got the club getting back at those cops, and that was a blast.
Like, so like back in the day.
Yeah, like Bobby cracking jokes, Gemma saying "eat me," like
Venus.
Yeah, Venus came back, and I mean, she had a heartbreaking story, but like just always, Walton Goggins is so funny as that character. Like, it was just after everything that we've seen, that's just been like dragging the club through pure shit week after week after week. Anything that is not that, I would call fun.
I feel like tonight was a working episode. There was a lot of work being done on every level and every layer of the story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of work.
Well, there was a lot of forward motion. We're like, okay, we got out of, if you think of a season of a show as having 3 acts, we're out of Act 1. Act 1 ended with the explosion at Tellermoro, and now we're transitioning. We're finally, okay, we're out of guns. We're trying to end this war with the Irish. Clay is now back in play. And we're working towards whatever the next big twist is going to be in 4 or 5 episodes from now. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, if you look at other FX shows, I feel like it's always structured that way. Like Justified does that every season. There's always like 2 big twists that come like after 5 episodes, and then at like 9 or 10 episodes, and then you ride it out to the end of the season. And I feel like, okay, we're bringing Venus back. Nero is now in prison. Patterson now knows that Torek was crazy, and now she's kind of our chief antagonist. And she took the wig off, and she's going to battle. She's hitting the mat.
I want to talk about Nero because that whole situation was rather interesting. I love Gemma going to bat for Nero, by the way.
Oh, totally.
We've never seen her do that for Clay. Not to that extent.
No, and it was so fun because we got called back with those same cops that she got in the fight with at the top throughout this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's things like that I'm like, this episode was fun. There was a lot of comedy this week that we don't normally have. But she cares about him in a way that she's never really cared about Clay, or at least that we've seen, just because she has a much firmer idea of what kind of man Nero is and the quality of his soul. He's a good person, you
Right.
know? Like that scene with Venus is just a reaffirmation of that he would, not only would he never harm any of his girls.
Well, before we get to Venus.
Sure.
Because that doesn't happen yet.
Okay.
That's at the end.
Fine.
Let's not go jump there yet.
Okay, Krisily.
But with no, I'm just saying, if we're gonna
Right.
do it, you know, in order. With Gemma and Nero, in all of those situations, you see Gemma the best she is when she's with Nero.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that Black Widow almost. Like there's a total different side of Gemma that I don't think that we've ever seen on the show before Nero came in.
There's a tenderness there. She feels like she can be safe with him in a way that she never really had with Clay.
I've always seen not with Clay, but I've seen her be tender with the some of the boys,
Yes.
but I've never with Clay. Nope.
No.
No.
And we still don't know what exactly Gemma told Nero about the Clay meeting. We know that they talked about it, but we don't know what all he knows, right? They didn't kind of divulge that. We just know they talked about it.
I got the sense that she told him everything and
Yeah.
asked him to keep it quiet.
And I think just because she does love him so much and she's trying to do the decent thing, she admitted that I'm sure they had relations,
Yeah.
you know, and that they had sex.
Yeah. She said, "I don't want to keep secrets from you."
Right.
Right.
You know, so
And then the conversation in the jail cell tonight was, I think, kind of showed that she said, you know, I know you want away from the club, but I want to figure out a way to do both, which she would have never done for anyone else. Like that's not a conversation she would have ever had with Clay.
that's true. But I think the events of last week have kind of pushed that up in her mind where, you know, even though it was no one in the club's fault that those prison guards were complete perverts and forced her into having sex with Clay, they sent her into that lion's den and then they sent her back again this week. And kind of in a similar vein to Tara, you know, again, another similarity that they don't even realize that they share. I think she's kind of done with club life, and it's
Gemma?
yeah.
Really?
I think if Nero wanted to leave, she'd leave with him.
Nope.
She's put
No
in her
way.
time.
No.
Really?
No way. And she
But
said
I think
that
no,
to him
but
tonight.
I do hear what you're saying about club life.
Yeah.
But it does mirror what Jax is wanting to do. Like this old way isn't working anymore.
Right.
We need to move into the new way. And I feel like whether she wants to or not, she's moving into the new way as well. She's getting softer. However, no, I don't think there's any indication that those kids, the boys and the overall boys, her
Right,
son
okay.
and the boys of the club aren't her. But that being said, it's funny. And it shows how much he loves Nero, because the Gemma that I knew would have been much more violent at the destruction of the club.
Yes.
Would have been violent.
Yes.
And yet it's really more about Nero.
And when she had that conversation with Nero and she said, I have to be there for my family and when she said family, I took it as way past Jax. I
Sure.
took it as the whole club. So I don't think that she would ever walk away from the club for Nero. But I think that she wants to figure out a way to do
How to do both,
But
yes.
she's not
Yeah.
going to be able to.
No.
There's no way.
At some point, you have to make a choice. And I mean, I'll get to this I'll get to that later in predictions. I have a thought.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear it. Your
Yeah.
predictions are always good. When Jack sends Gemma back to Clay, I think we're all nervous. But when she walks into that jail, like she looks scared. And it's so rare that we ever see her really look scared.
Yeah, she looks almost like a shell, like the way that she just kind of quietly, slowly
Super
walks
fragile,
around
yeah.
that table. She's made of glass there, and she's just
What is she afraid of?
Getting raped again? Anything. The conversation that we then hear her have.
yeah.
I mean,
She doesn't want to think about it. She doesn't want to be back in that place. When Jax tells her to go to the jail, she has that moment where she's freaking out, and then she says, "I'm here." And she, for a moment, she was sucked back into that. And I think she's just trying to distance herself as much as she can. She does not want to be there. She does not want to have a conversation with Clay more than she has to. You know, she's going to leverage the time that she's there, and it shows just how important it is to her that Nero gets free. You know, she brings Jax's message, but then she interrogates him about Lee, and you can tell it's hard for her. She doesn't want to talk to Clay. She doesn't even want to look at him because all she can see is kind of the shame and the pain of it.
that conversation was hard to even watch almost. Like I love Gemma with Nero, and that's the only time I've ever rooted for Gemma is when she's with Nero. But seeing her have to talk about Nero to Clay, I mean, as much as I hate Clay, it still hurt. Like that was tough to watch.
Right.
What was it that he said? Oh, you want my help to bust out your new boyfriend? Yeah.
Now, my question is, within that, does her going to Clay about Nero now affect Clay's decisions within the club? Because I believed that Clay was going back and he was going to have this redemption story, which I know Keven wants so
bad. I want.
So bad you can taste it.
I do.
Last week I picked up the Clay mantle for you and I ran with it.
Thank you.
For 100 yards.
He did. But I kept saying that if he is going to get this redemption story, it's because he wants his life back. He wants the club and Gemma and all encompassed. Now, does Gemma going to him about Nero and him seeing that her loyalty now lies in Nero, does that now affect Clay's decisions with the club?
No, because he did respond. He did tell that he could have lied. Like typical Clay could have lied. He said, no, that guy was twisted and he was just out to destroy us.
Right, but what does he lose by giving her that information?
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. He's just the vintage Clay is such an amazing chess player that that's an opportunity for something. I don't know what it would be.
Right.
And he didn't take it. I just wonder with him, I don't think Clay, I feel like Clay isn't about getting Gemma back and getting the club back. I feel like he's about, I don't want to go out this way. I don't want to go out a rat. I don't want to go out a snitch. I know I'm dead anyway. So let me go out on the note where I did the right thing by my old lady and I did right by my club. That's kind of where I think he's at. And what excites me about Clay is where we're so down in the dumps and so we have so many enemies out there that just imagine a guy as formidable as Clay on your side. How cool that would be.
Yeah. I think we're not going to know exactly where Clay's loyalties lie until he's out of prison.
Of course.
Until he's face to face with Galen.
And I'm dying to see him out of prison because I'm tired of seeing him in little just even physically seeing him in closed spaces. I want to see Ron Perlman. I want to see Clay. I want him interacting again.
Yeah, give him a cigar to chomp.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And you said something interesting while we were watching that Clay wouldn't still be here if he wasn't going to get out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a character like that stick around if he's not going to be doing something. This whole season he's been reactive. There's been very little that he's been able to actively do without someone else's help. He's mostly reacting to other people's wants, needs, and information.
Right.
And until he's free, he can't properly act for his own self-interest. So as soon as he's free, we're going to know, at least at first, as soon as he meets Galen, whether or not he's on the club side or on Galen's side, if he starts giving Galen any of the information that he's gotten from members of the club.
Right.
We're going to know that pretty quickly. And then ultimately, we're not going to know what his full agenda is until the end of the season or right before the end of it. He's gonna pull that pin and something's gonna go boom.
Who's that?
Clay. Like that's the thing. Is like either he's going to leave.
Kevin's like, no, he's gonna help.
I don't know. I want him to help.
Either he's going to make Galen believe that he's on his side and then betray him for the club, or he's going to be looking like he's working for the club and then he's going to somehow take out Galen and maybe take his place in the IRA, or come up with some other kind of
or not
scheme.
even take out Galen. Like just have the IRA behind him, make a ton of money, and crush Jax and them for doing this to him.
There you go. Raise his own army.
It's really scary the position he's going to be in because he's going to be very powerful.
Yeah.
To have the whole IRA behind him.
And to be the only person, the point person to all these various gangs and factions in California, in Northern California. He's going to be their sole supplier, and they're going to need him. He's going to have leverage on all of him. That power is going to go to his
head quick, too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's Clay.
It's the question is, how long of a leash is Galen going to give him?
Kevin looks so defeated right now.
Nobody likes my idea of Clay making the comeback.
No, I'm not saying.
A lot of people are on your side.
Yeah, a lot of people are on your side.
Just
I want to see it. I just doubt it'll happen. That's all.
It is going to be very tempting, too tempting in a sense, to have all of that and I don't know, and be a martyr.
I don't know.
He could really set a nice life up for himself.
Yeah.
Working with Galen, he'll make a ton of money. He'll have, like you said, a ton of power. Yeah.
We might be overestimating the amount of power that he's going to have because he's going to be effectively a cog in the IRA network. He doesn't have his own club. He doesn't have guys
But if
backing
he's got
him.
Galen behind him, that's all he needs.
Right.
Yeah, especially the way Galen's going these
Right.
days.
Oh, that's true. If the Kings turn on Galen and it's Galen and Clay, well,
Oh, that's different. No, that's different.
yeah, but
Can I ask you guys something?
Yes.
Steven in the booth here. But Clay was always saying that the guns were the way to get to the future for Gemma and Clay. That was their nest egg. That was their get out of the club thing. Now that Gemma's not after him, do you think he'd rather give up the guns and all that power to try to make a play to get Gemma back from Nero? Do you think I don't think it really. I mean, the power is great for Clay, but I think without Gemma, without anyone there for him, I think he'll find it's useless. And he's alone in prison with nothing to do but think. I just don't know if he would let the power go to his head.
the fact is, his relationship with Galen and Galen wanting to work with him, that's the only thing keeping him alive and has been for some time. You know, like that's if he tries to get out of that relationship, it's going to backfire on him because Galen's a snake and he puts himself first.
Well,
Like,
now he has to for the sake of the club as well,
yeah,
for the sake of everything. One of our favorite characters came back tonight.
that's true.
I love Venus.
I love Venus. Walton Goggins is such an amazing actor, and just seeing him in drag is hysterical. But
I
he
can't
embodies
even
this
remember
character.
what else he's in because he's so good as Venus.
The Shield and Justified, and he was also in Django Unchained last year.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a character completely unlike anything we've seen him do. He's a very tough guy. He's very macho, and yet he gives this character this like level of soul that she's just very, very believable. And
now vulnerable.
yeah,
where she's been beat, and we hear her story and how Clay, excuse me, how Nero took care of her.
Yeah, you just want Clay to take care of everyone.
He just does. He's just like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's just
so
a big teddy
nurturing.
bear.
Yeah.
He's just Mr. Mom.
I'm telling you, if we have Clay on our side, just imagine.
Okay.
Just imagine.
Yeah. Well,
I want Nero on my side. After
Yeah.
hearing Venus tonight, I want Nero on
Okay.
my side.
This probably gets. Reigns. This isn't so much predictions; it's long-term predictions. So I think I can
Sure.
say it now. But when he called him a guardian angel, when Venus called Nero a guardian angel, I feel that he's been the guardian angel to Gemma, to the club, and it could be a tease for him ultimately to die and perish. Where he'll
sure.
be the angel,
Oh,
guardian
totally.
angel, and how he dies, some way in death, he's able to help them in life.
yeah. Well, it could be.
I feel like we talked about this last week that Nero wasn't going to make it through the season because
Yeah.
we love him.
Because we love him too much, and because he's not ultimately part of the end game of the whole series. Do you know what I mean? Like he's a prolonged guest star. Like he's a new character, and I feel like the last season you should be dealing with your core people.
But his death will affect the club on so many different levels
Totally.
because of Gemma, because of all the legitimate business that he started with them. So his life is there, and we know that he's going to die because we love him, and Kurt Sutter kills everyone we love. So we know it's going to happen.
Except Bobby. Not
But-
yet, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's something. And Venus, that conversation, Venus, by the way, is the most eloquent speaker I've ever heard in my life. But hearing that story and because I didn't remember Venus coming from Nero at all last season. I didn't remember that, so that was nice to see. But to hear that story of the abuse and the family, and he took her in and he took care of her and never asked for anything. That's what Nero's done with everyone. That's what he's done with Gemma. That's what he's done with Jax. I mean,
It's who he is. It's in his soul. That's just like at least since he got out of the life, but like after prison and getting out and starting this legitimate business, he's somebody who takes family very seriously. He takes responsibility very seriously. He's got a good heart. He cares genuinely about people who deserve it. And he's a selfless person. Like the amount of shit that Sam Crow has piled up at his door, you need the patience of a saint to be able to deal with that much
which
of it.
he has, which
Yeah.
blows
Oh
me
my
away.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's put up with a lot.
That's so much.
A hell of a lot. And not a lot of time has passed over these 2 seasons. It's only been about 2 months and all this crap.
Well, we all laughed tonight when the sheriff said this week, and we were like, wait a minute, it's only been a week? That's
Yeah.
one
Week.
tough week.
Yeah, a really bad week.
Seriously.
Charming.
It's a really bad week. Before we get into Tara, because I definitely want to talk about her, because whoa, Tara tonight. I want to let you guys know, if you're listening to us on iTunes, thank you. Please rate and comment, share, tell a friend. If you're watching on YouTube, we love to read your comments. I know Matt always comments back pretty quickly too. You're
Yeah.
really good at that.
Thank
You're
you.
really good
And
at
YouTube
that.
slowly, at AfterBuzz, we've always been just audio driven with iTunes, but I'm
Yes.
noticing much more. We're noticing much more activity on YouTube now, which is interesting. So it's great
They
to see the
want to
comments.
see our lovely faces.
They want to see your
That's
lovely
true.
face,
Yeah.
They
Christine.
want to
It's
see
all
our
you.
lovely faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to say. We say this all the time.
99%
Yes,
of the
they want to
views.
see your lovely face,
Mhm.
Christine.
Stop it. We love the boys too. Tara made some big moves tonight.
Yeah, well, she was presented with a get out of jail free card. I mean, no pun intended, but Patterson growing increasingly desperate.
Time to get hood.
Yeah, time to get hood, sister.
So awkward.
I know that was such a weird line. And CCH Pounder is such a great actress, and that's the thing. And I know we're talking about Tara, but I have to interject this. I've been wondering all season. I'm like, why would you get an actress of the caliber of CCH Pounder to play this boring character with this awful wig? And she's not really doing anything. And it's a rug. It's an awful rug. She finally took it off tonight, and the gloves are coming off. And I'm like, okay, now I'm excited. Because I loved her on the show. She's great in anything. But regardless, Tara, even though she wants to divorce Jax, even though she's going to make sure that the kids stay far away from their father and their grandmother, there's a limit to how far she's willing to betray her love for Jax. And she said tonight definitively that she still loves him.
Of course she
truly,
does.
madly, deeply.
I don't think any of us have ever questioned the love she felt for Jax. It's the safety of her kids.
That's it. The kids.
That's all it comes down to. If she didn't have those children, this would be a very different show. It'd be a very different scenario.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't be worried about leaving because she wouldn't have. There's no liability. But now there's liabilities. There's 2 kids, and obviously one of them's Wendy's, but it's still like those are kids, and you have to take care of them, and this is what you do, and
And they almost got blown up.
I mean, one got kidnapped, one almost. It's just there's always something, and at what level do you not have to do that? Because she can't just leave.
Yeah.
She the divorce, all that has to happen in order for anything to have her back. I just don't know how any of it shapes up or works out. Because we know that, she's might go to jail.
Yeah. She let Unser in finally this week.
Which didn't look to be so safe at the end of that, did it?
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, we don't know what Wayne's
He's in
agenda
love
is
with
here.
Gemma,
And
so
that-
it's hard.
Yeah. And it's why Tara can't trust him. It's why we can't trust him entirely, because even if he really wants, the safety of these kids and that's his main objective, Gemma could get it out of him. She could get it out of him with just with a smile and a tilt of her head.
I disagree, honestly.
Yeah.
I got a different sensation from his little groan at the end of that scene where she's like, "Yeah, and Unser's helping us too." It seemed more like he was still on the fence about whether he was helping her or not, like whether he wanted to, and she just kind of
She had just tipped him.
I mean, she basically just included him without his real go-ahead yet, because he said he needs to know everything, and she didn't tell him everything, so he hadn't really agreed before she told Wendy, which now automatically puts him in a bad place. If Gemma finds out that he's helping Tara through Wendy, I mean, it puts Unser in a really bad place if he doesn't help Tara.
Unser put himself in that place, just saying.
He volunteered.
Yeah, he put himself in that place.
Well, he's been the ultimate masochist for the club.
Right. And I mean, he has seen both sides. He has seen Wendy come to Gemma, and now he's seen Wendy with Tara. So I feel like Unser's kind of the king at playing both sides and figuring out all the information and then making a decision. But unfortunately, his decision always goes back to Gemma.
But he cares for those kids.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing that I think.
Well, this is going to be the rub.
benefit.
Yes,
Right.
it's going to be the wrinkle is all I said was he's in love with Gemma.
For sure.
Meaning there's just going to be problems. I'm not saying like
Yeah.
he's gathering notes, he's going to run to Gemma. No, I'm just saying he's going to be so conflicted and torn because he wants to do the right thing by the kids and by Tara, but he's also wants to do right by Gemma because he loves her. So it's gonna be fickle.
Because we know they're both priorities to him. Jem is obviously
Yes.
a priority, and we saw after the attack on him, the first thing he said was about the kids. So we know the kids are a priority too, but it's a tough situation. And I didn't think Tara would take the deal from the DA
Yeah.
because she does love him, and that is something that she'll never get back from. Divorcing him, taking the kids to safety, having to go to jail. I think in long term, Jax would see that what she was doing for the kids.
But how do you think she's going to fare against this now far more aggressive DA
And-
Patterson?
Hood,
Yeah.
hood rat.
Well, you know what's interesting is there is the reason this is going to be tough is that she's now gone the Torque route of it's personal.
Yeah.
She's disregarded. She has a sense that there's a right and wrong to all this, and she doesn't care.
Mhm.
So I felt like by taking off that wig, it was like, no, I'm just going to win now. It's no longer about
Yeah.
justice. It's about I'm gonna win.
Which is funny because when when they find out about when they see the blood in Lee's hotel room and
The bullet holes.
and the sheriff finally says to him, they've put all that together now. When she walks away and she has that oh shit face, I thought maybe she'll do the right thing.
Yeah,
but
no.
then when that wig came off,
Nope.
I was like, we're done.
Yeah, she went from somebody who was somewhat just-minded to now it's nope.
done.
No, because to see that mess in that room of like, I mean, what else did you need? Talk about a crime scene. You had bullets,
Exactly.
you had drugs, you had heroin, you had not
Machine
just guns,
guns.
machine guns, you had silencers. I mean, there was just, it was for you to just deny that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is he was in her employ. This all winds up on her doorstep. If this all comes down on her and she doesn't, if she doesn't get if she doesn't bring down the club, if she doesn't get a prosecution, she doesn't get a win on this school shooting, her career is over. And
For
she
sure.
and she is
So
not
that's why
going,
she's got to get the win.
exactly. She's
Gotcha.
not going to go down because Lee Torek was a psychopath.
But is going dirty the right answer?
She's doing nothing dirty. She's
So
done.
far.
Yeah. ... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's coming.
No, but that's
It's
what,
coming.
That's what I'm saying, though. We don't know if she's dirty. We know she's determined. She's not Lee Torek, but she was determined enough to win to take him despite his questionable credentials. I don't think necessarily that she's going to go dirty. I know that this is
Hood.
Sons of Anarchy.
She also said I'm going hood.
Okay, well maybe she
To
is
me, that
hood.
doesn't mean clean.
No, to me it just means aggressive. It means aggressive and take no prisoners and don't worry about it. It's that old like reality show thing. I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to win.
She tried the nice way, offered a deal.
Wore
Deals are off the table.
Wore the white people hair, and now she took it off. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I liked it, but I like the challenge reference better.
Yeah.
Like the MTV's the challenge.
Listen,
like
I've
I didn't
used
come
that
here to make
line.
right.
I've used that line.
Did you?
Yeah.
So wait,
I didn't come here to make friends.
Right, but you came to
I've
fall.
used that
You
line.
came to fall in love.
Yeah.
On the
well,
Bachelor,
not so
right.
much either, but
Right, okay.
whatever. Whatever works. Let's talk about the Irish.
And the blow up of the, that.
That phone call.
Well, backing up to, let's talk about the opening and seeing the club destroyed,
Aftermath.
Heartbreaking.
and walking through and seeing the table down, and sitting down.
The bike under the I mean.
Awful.
Oh.
But I was so. I said this out loud as we were watching it. I said, I love Chibs.
Mhm.
It's so funny because that's the first thing that I wrote when Chibs gave Jax
The gavel.
the gavel.
Mhm.
I literally got the chills.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like I got the
Me too.
chills.
So did I.
It was
I'm
like-
getting him now.
I was like, oh my god,
Yes.
we're going back.
Yes.
It's gonna be good. This
Yeah.
is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like I got the.
I'm
I got
behind you,
So
Jackie.
happy.
Yeah.
It was the first time happiness
Yeah.
came from this show in a while.
Yeah.
And how great, just he as an actor, just his posture. Do you notice how he stands?
I love
He's
Chibs.
just, his shoulders are way back, and he's just, but yet he's not puffing his chest out either. He's just so cool. I don't know. He's awesome. And I'm so excited that he was like, nope. Okay, maybe you made some bad decisions. Like that was,
Yeah.
for me, that was a moment that I could see him saying, look what you did. Look what you did.
Yeah.
All your decisions drove it to this. Nope. He was like, okay, enough. You've made your decisions. That's fine. We can squabble in house. But when someone outside force, even Irish, even some of my, quote, brothers in Ireland come and try to bring us down, F that. We stand as one. I'm totally behind you. We're going to get through this.
Yeah. Well, it was a great move as a VP. You know, because
Yeah, I said that to myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the VP I want.
exactly, because you know, president is the head, the VP is the neck.
Phil's not walking up to
Yeah.
me with the gavel. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Phil's going to Steven and I'm getting out like Clay, and they're gonna go over my tats.
Kevin.
That's why I love
Stop
Clay. Now you
it.
see why I
Stop
love
it.
Clay.
Yeah, well.
You're
But anyway,
not evil.
But by the way, so I don't want to take away from the moment with the joke, because I loved that moment.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with Chips. You know, he knows what Jax needs to give him the strength to keep going and to make the right decisions. And he doesn't need a dressing down. He doesn't need another telling off. He needs support, and Jax needs to know that the club is behind him 100%, and that they support him and get him active, get him spinning his wheels, and not just like sitting there among the wreckage, feeling shitty for himself.
And you know, him saying that he did this was some ownership on
Yep.
screwing up.
Yep.
And you know, he can't ask for the guys to back him up if he doesn't give them the chance to. So, and he hasn't done that the past couple weeks. He hasn't allowed the boys to back him up on any decisions. He's made them all recklessly. And I think tonight we saw the after effect of that, which thankfully he didn't just walk away from, and he understood and took and listened to. And I mean, how do you not listen to a bomb? But you know,
It's pretty loud.
it was nice to see that he took that, and because he could have just went left with it and decided not to.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, nice to see finally. And when they do take that phone call at the makeshift table at Gemma's house, when they're talking to the Irish, Galen kind of got screwed.
Well, Galen was found out for the snake that he was,
Yeah.
and I loved how long we held on the Kings as they realized the mistake they had made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he was like, "Yeah, let me know when to free your boys," you see their faces like, "What?
What?
They're still alive?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just like they glare at him like what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, you said there was no way. This guy acted with honor. What have we done here? You know, have we betrayed the cause? It's going to be very interesting to see what Galen's next move is. Once Clay is in the wind and he's out, what does Galen want to do? Is he going to try to take out the Kings and become the new leader of the IRA? Is he trying to get out? I don't know.
I don't think he's trying to get out, because
Yeah.
the deal was Clay handles guns, buyers, all the buyers have to be on board, and the Sons get no money.
Yeah.
And I feel like, of course, he wants Clay because Clay does dirty business with him, and they have all this
Clay's his
history.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like he definitely doesn't want out. And I mean, I don't know. Does he? I mean, we know he has balls and he's stupid, but does he have the balls to take over the Kings? I mean, that's big. That's
I don't
not-
think he's trying. No, I don't
that's
think he's
not
trying to take
Sons
over
of
the Kings. I
Anarchy,
think he's
yeah.
lining his pockets, and that's it. It was his big power play. Because Jax kept calling him out. This isn't about your cause. This is about you making money.
Right.
Don't lie. Stop saying it's about the cause. This is not. It's about profit, and you're just you'll do anything to get it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's intense.
He's sick.
Yeah. But
Galen and Clay are two peas in a pod, though.
stop it.
I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
they really are. They are.
really
Yeah,
are.
I know.
They really are. And I'm very curious to see how the Kings handle Galen from this point on. Like, what happens from this?
They're gonna
point
have an
on.
eye on him, for sure. They're gonna have an eye on him.
They got to. He's dangerous. He lied to them. He led them in the wrong direction. They have, clear and visible proof that he cannot necessarily be trusted. He's not
Yeah.
necessarily an enemy of the cause, but he is actively working in his own self-interest.
What do you think about Clay replacing Galen?
Running point on the guns. I don't know.
if they go behind Galen's back and work with Galen to get Clay in, and then go behind Galen's back.
I don't
They
think
won't-
it's happening. I
Yeah.
think I don't want to give it away. I think
Clay
They
we're
won't trust
I-
Clay if they know that's Galen's right hand right now.
And
either.
Clay does Clay have any Irish blood in him? They wouldn't take someone who wasn't Irish.
No, IRA's serious.
They're deadly
Stuff.
serious.
Deadly serious. So we get the deal from the Irish, and then we go to what ends up being the meeting of the minds for the Sons of Anarchy. But on the way, Juice,
right.
talk about manning up to the Eden cops.
Yep.
Juice goes bananas
It was
on this cop.
crazy.
Yeah. He's kind of been he's been hanging back the last couple of episodes, but he's like been boiling with rage.
He's had enough. That poor guy.
Yeah.
Been through a lot.
And he's not over Chibs beating the crap out of him.
No.
He's not over it by a long shot.
No.
And he's dealt with so much the last couple of years, like I've been waiting for him to normalize, but now I'm realizing that maybe there is no normal anymore.
This is his new normal.
Jesus.
Because I mean, and I think we talked about that when we were watching. Like, how can he not change at this point? The stuff that he's been through, going to almost being a rat, doing all these things, getting beat up, losing the trust of the club, not the club questioning his loyalty.
Betraying
I mean, how do you
Clay.
not?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a changed man now, and I can't lie. I kind of like.
I
this
like
Juice
it.
better.
I like it.
I like him way better.
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm worried about him.
He jumped off a motorcycle into a van tonight.
Okay.
How badass is
Okay,
that?
and by the way, Assistant Rat Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Rat
Rat
Boy.
Love
Boy is
Rat.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I said twice tonight while we were watching. I'm like, when is he getting his effing patch?
Yeah, we got to
man?
patch in Rat Boy.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will soon. There's
Well, no, now
shit's
they've
been
got
blowing up.
Now they've got reinforcements.
Well,
they
we-
don't have to.
No, but he said, no, you can stay.
Yeah. at
Remember,
the
he said
table,
at the
yeah.
table, he said, you can stay.
Sorry, I keep getting stuck on my microphone.
Oh, no worries.
I don't know what's happening. I like that Juice is showing his loyalty again, and that they're showing that side of him, and I like that Juice is getting to do more badass stuff because we've seen him as so weak for so long.
He's had a rough go of it.
Mhm.
He's had a rough go of it.
But the table.
Table, yeah, the speech from Jax.
I love the way Kurt did it with no sound effects, no music in the background. There was nothing but pure Jax talking.
Yeah. Just let the moment breathe.
It was such. I know.
Do it with me. Here we go.
It was such a moment. It was so good. I loved it. It was not Juice. Jax became a man tonight almost. Like I feel like we saw him become.
Let me say this. No more. He became more than that. He became king. He now has, to me, he no longer runs the Sons chapter. He's really taking the father's legacy,
Right.
who started it all, right? So by him taking command of not just his chapter, but all the chapters and all the presence of the chapters, and him to get that kind of vote of confidence from everyone, to me said, it's a whole other level. He really is. It's the dad's legacy, and as he arced the dad's legacy, because he's like,
Totally.
Dad, he let his fear get to him.
Yeah.
I'm fully embracing. I'm going to be the one to figure out how to make this lifestyle work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one. And
Legitimately.
yes, incredible speech, but also an incredible step for him and what his rank is now within the national Sons
For sure.
or international
For
Sons.
sure. And seeing them all follow. I mean, he talked about Opie's death and not letting that go into vain. And his father, the legacy that he left wasn't always a great one. But
Right.
he wasn't going to go down that path. And you saw Bobby get nervous at the beginning of the speech. And at the end of the speech, his eyes lit up.
Yep.
And you could see that Bobby was, for the first time, proud of Jax.
More
in a
chills.
long time. I just got
More
them.
chills.
I
So
just
did
got
I.
them. I just
So
got
did
them.
I.
Because it was nice to
Yeah, it
see
was
Bobby be proud
beautiful.
of him. And Bobby.
So move on to Bobby now,
I
talking
mean,
about more
Yeah.
awesomeness.
Talk about awesome. We've all said it. He's going out on his own. He's going to be a nomad.
And by the way, a lot of our fans were writing in saying, am I the only one? I'm sick of seeing Bobby. I don't really care.
What's the
I don't
story?
care.
Where's
What
it
is it?
going?
Yeah.
And look at this.
What a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still getting the chills. I was out recruiting.
Oh,
It was great.
love Bobby. Like that was just awesome. And it was like just a burst of wind into our sails. Like, yes, we got new blood in the club. Bobby's back and better than ever.
And I got good guys. Like he got solid guys.
Yeah.
Not like Clay guys, like psychopaths, but guys that had families, but were understood the point and the direction of the club, and the fact that he said, I don't need the patch. It's not about me getting the patch.
Yep.
It's not about me having the gavel. It's about me supporting the club and supporting you.
which was just awesome. And it was just a
So
great
good.
surrogate dad moment.
Yeah.
So good.
And to see Jack smile like that, it was such a relief.
Mm-hmm.
And to see all the boys be back together when they went into the compound to
Yeah.
get all the
Yep.
Juice's bite, to see all of the boys back together and Bobby and how big, because the club has gotten to the point where there was 4 at
Yeah.
the table. There
We
was
were
no one
like so
around.
depleted.
And to see them all there tonight was just, it was such a good feeling. And you feel like, oh, it's going to get better. We know it's not, but it was a good feeling.
I
tonight.
think it's going to in the long run, though. I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel like we're going to end up on a good note.
You think they're through the worst of it?
No. Oh, no.
No,
I didn't mean that. I'm just saying when I first started watching the series, I, thought, this has to end in tragedy.
Of
Like
course.
The Sopranos.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think Jax finds a way to make this work because I think Kurt doesn't want to slap biker life and have the final statement be, yeah, biker life, it's a cool ride, and in the end you just die, you get killed. And I don't think he wants to, just my opinion, I
Yeah.
don't think he wants to put that out there. And I think, what sucks about tonight is I feel like enjoy it, savor it.
Because it's not going to last.
No, we're going to get
No,
really,
I
we're going to go
agree.
on a slippery slope. But I think that however many episodes from now, and I don't know how many more episodes in this season and next, I think we redeem and we come out okay.
Yeah.
It's
We got,
interesting.
like,
I never thought of it that way because I thought the same, like everyone's going to die. But thinking of it
Shakespearean
that way-
tragedy.
yeah, I do. I agree that Kurt Sutter does have such a respect for
Bikers.
and clubs. And I feel like you're right. I feel like maybe it does end up in some sort of family.
But-
because that's the truth and the finality of it. There is still that family at the end.
I agree with you both, but I'll give it the one caveat. I think that Jax is going to have to sacrifice something awful to
Yes.
get that.
Of course.
And always. I mean, many things. Well, that's the other thing too. Do we go that road where we see in writing all the time where, yes, you gain it all, but you sell your soul?
Yeah.
So when I was seeing the first 3 seasons of this, I was like, God, does it end in epic tragedy, or does it end where Jax is the overlord, but he's lost everything? He's lost Tara, he's lost his kids, he's lost.
I don't think that's it.
Okay, so I thought that might be it, but now I don't know. If we keep seeing more of episodes like tonight, it will be an indication that it won't happen. But if it goes downward on the slippery slope, there's a chance that it will. I think writing wise, if you keep seeing good things, then oh no, we're in trouble. It's going to end in a bad way.
I
Yeah.
think he's going to secure the club's future in a very positive way, and we see a moment of, Abel and maybe or basically of Abel accepting the mantle of his father, and the club being secured, but that Jax, I don't know if he dies or if he
He
goes
may have to give his
prison.
life for it. He may
Yeah.
have to.
Well, seeing that we're already in predictions, I feel like we should just.
Okay.
No. I feel like we should continue with it.
Okay, no,
Because
the
they are.
cops,
There are
we-
predictions.
Your AfterBuzz
Buzz TV.
TV predictions.
Okay, but wait, in predictions, sorry. Can I just say how great it was for the Eden cops to get bitched out? So after we
Yeah.
had this great moment with
That was my
with
joke.
Bobby,
Sorry for my behavior today.
right?
Yeah.
It didn't go so
And
well.
so to see, but it was so great. So it wasn't enough that we got the chilling moment with Bobby. Then we got to see old school, them heckling those cops. Juicy gets an
So
awesome
good.
bike. Bobby acknowledges, hey, what happened to Juicy, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And then the cops having to, I'm sorry.
No, it was
I'm really
fantastic.
sorry.
It was good because you don't taking a guy's bike and breaking it apart. It's like taking their manhood
It is.
away.
It's everything.
Like you don't mess with a man's motorcycle.
You know what?
true.
It was revealed to civilians like myself back in the 60s when the riot broke out with remember the Rolling Stones?
Hells
They had
Angels.
hired the Hells Angels to protect them, and somebody messed with one of their bikes, like a civilian, and that's what caused everything, the chaos, the
wow.
stabbings, everything.
Yep.
So anyway, but yeah, you understand why he was like the way he was, but great light moment, all of them.
So much fun.
Good old boys.
That was a
Good old
super
boys,
fun
high
moment,
fiving,
yeah.
driving off, and anyway. So I want to say that before predictions, and now predictions. I guess
Okay.
poor Nero's Guardian Angel is put on the spot.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about earlier. So has he been dealt too much crap by this club? Patterson offers him a deal to flip on the club.
No
he gets
way.
free and clear of this murder. I know that it's not in him necessarily to rat, but if he thought that Gemma was going to go with him, I don't know.
No, he
No
won't
way.
rat. But you bring up something interesting. We've just seen him be awesome, but we've not seen him be the chess player that my
Clay.
boy is. Clay
Clay.
is. But he should be capable of it with his past success that
Of
he's had
course.
staying alive. It will be interesting if he doesn't tease that. If we don't get teased as an audience where he goes down that road. I think ultimately he does not betray the club. It's not in him to betray. He'd rather die than be a snitch or be a rat. I think he would rather do that. But will he play along? I don't know.
Yeah.
For the game. I don't know.
I have to think that Tara wants a restraining order against Gemma because we see them slapping each other.
Yeah.
She asked about
I
a
know. By the way,
restraining
does that mean Unser tells? I don't know.
I don't think it's Unser. I think maybe she finds out through Wendy. Wendy's conscience was
Very
weighing on her
interesting.
last week.
Okay, and interesting. Talking about Wendy, when the club blew up, one of Wendy's first responses was, "What happened to Gemma?
Yeah.
Is Gemma okay?"
Yeah.
And it wasn't what happened to Gemma, like, is she out of my life off the hook? It seemed like
She
concern.
cares.
She cares a lot about
So
her.
that's, and Gemma, man, she's
I think
good.
Wendy misses that life a little bit. I think that's why she keeps going back to the
And
clubhouse.
she said, you should have been the one.
And then Gemma saying that to her because Gemma knows her weakness. I think that Wendy's not reliable anymore at all.
Yeah. Well,
Like
yeah,
maybe she's thinking this is her play to get back with Jax
Yeah.
and get back in the.
I don't know if she necessarily would get back with Jax, but you have to remember, right? When she lost the club, she lost everything.
Yeah.
She lost her health and everyone who was in her life. That was her family.
Yeah, but she was on drugs while she was in the club.
That's true.
That's what she lost.
But it doesn't appear that she has a family or anyone that seems to care about her outside of that club.
No.
She'd love to get that family back.
And dysfunction. I don't know.
Before we say goodbye, I just have to let you know our AfterBuzz TV host, Steph Z, she hosts a bunch of shows here, is out with the Friend Movement, walking 921 miles to
No.
stop bullying. Yes.
Yes,
Oh my
it's
God.
a very
You
good
can
cause.
follow Friend Movement. You can go to friendmovement.com on Twitter, on Instagram. If you donate $20 to the cause, you get this awesome Friend
wondering where you
Movement
got
watch.
that.
So
Whoa.
cool. Also a mirror. Ladies, we can put our lipstick
Oh my
in.
God. Hey, you know what? We
it
should-
helps their cause. 921 miles. They're somewhere in Ohio now.
I didn't
and they're
even
walking
know
to New
this.
York.
Oh, yeah.
And Steph
Yeah.
Z is like literally one of our best hosts. Just amazing.
She's one of my favorite
She's the best.
people.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The best. So
And how do we tweet at Steph to wish her well?
Steph is her Twitter handle is I am Steph Z. Friend Movement is also Twitter, Instagram, and then friendmovement.com. You can find their Indiegogo campaign and donate to help their walk.
I'm gonna
Yay.
donate.
Yeah, where can
Me
they find
too.
you guys?
They can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Sleepy Hollow after shows.
At Undergaro, and of course Bar Rescue and Boardwalk Empire.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Krisily. Thanks for joining us for another Sons of Anarchy after show, and we'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.